The enemy doesn't always wear a uniform. Sometimes it comes disguised as comfort, as convenience, as dopamine on demand. The enemy wants you distracted, because a distracted man is a defeated man. When your attention is split in 1,000 directions, your power is diluted. You're not sharp, you're not lethal, you're just noise, and the world already has enough noise. Look around. Everything is engineered to steal your focus. Every app, every ping, every buzz, built with one goal: to keep your mind off the mission. They don't care about your goals, they don't care about your discipline, they care about your attention, because your attention is currency, and every second you give away, someone else cashes in. This is war. Not with bullets, but with pixels and distractions. They want your eyes on screens, not on your goals. They want you scrolling endlessly instead of building relentlessly. They want you consuming, not creating. Watching, not doing, comparing, not growing. That's how they win, that's how they break you. Quietly, slowly, without resistance. One distraction at a time. So what do? You fight back, not by screaming. Not by posting rants. You fight by locking in, by becoming dangerous again, by remembering that your focus is your most valuable weapon. And if you don't guard it like your life depends on it, it will be taken from you. Stolen piece by piece. You have a mission. You have something deep inside you that the world needs, but it will never be built if you're busy checking your phone every 10 minutes. It will never be achieved if you're constantly pulled away by what everyone else is doing. Greatness doesn't grow in distraction. It grows in silence, in stillness, in long, quiet hours of deep, disciplined focus. You think the enemy is out there, but most of the time it's right in your hand. In your habits, in your routines. You want to be great, then act like it. Cut the noise, guard your time like it's sacred, because it is. Every minute of undivided focus is a step toward mastery. Every time you resist distraction, you build power. Mental muscle, inner clarity, the kind of clarity that shakes mountains and moves people. So when the enemy tries to pull your attention, don't flinch, don't answer, don't get sucked in, stay still, stay silent. Stay locked in, because your enemies may be loud, but your discipline is louder. When it speaks through results. This is how you win, quietly, relentlessly, focused. Focus is the modern warrior's blade. It's not forged in steel, but in silence, discipline, and ruthless clarity. In a world flooded with noise, distractions, and mental clutter, your ability to lock in is what sets you apart. Focus isn't just a tool, it's a weapon. And like any weapon, it must be sharpened, protected, and wielded with precision. The warrior of today doesn't need to swing a sword. He needs to swing his attention like a blade, cutting through all the nonsense, cutting through lies, cutting through weakness. You can't afford to let your mind wander, not if you're serious about winning, not if you're serious about becoming something greater than the average man. The average man chases everything. The warrior hunts one target. The average man gets distracted. The warrior gets dialed in. When you focus, you move with force. Every action becomes deliberate. Every breath, every decision, every moment is fueled by direction. You know where you're going, and you don't allow yourself to drift. That's what makes focus so powerful. It transforms effort into impact. It turns chaos into clarity. It makes the impossible achievable, because you're no longer scattered. You're no longer torn between a dozen weak intentions. You are locked onto one mission, one objective, and you drive toward it with everything you have. Distractions are designed to steal your edge. They dull your blade. Every time you break focus, you lose momentum. And momentum is everything. The greatest warriors, the greatest leaders, the greatest builders in history, they all mastered focus. Not just for hours, not just for days, but for years, for decades. And that's why they won. Not because they were superhuman, but because they were committed, because they protected their focus like it was their last breath. People will tell you to multitask, to do more, juggle more, balance more. Don't listen, that's a trap. That's how the world keeps you weak. You want to dominate, then simplify, then cut, then eliminate, remove everything that doesn't serve your mission. Friends, habits, environments. If it's dulling your blade, let it go. There's no space for softness in a focused life. There's no time for compromise when you're chasing mastery. You sharpen your blade by repetition, by doing the work when no one's watching, by choosing effort over ease. Day in, day out, and yes, it will be boring. Yes, it will be lonely, but that's the price of clarity. That's the price of being a warrior in a distracted world. So you have a choice. You can stay scattered, distracted, average. Or you can sharpen your blade, focus up, and become unstoppable, because once your blade is sharp and your mind is clear, there is no target you cannot hit. No battle you cannot win. Silence isn't weakness. It's strategy. In a world where everyone wants to be heard, the warrior remains quiet. Not because he has nothing to say, but because his actions will say it louder. You see, there's power in restraint. In holding back, in observing instead of reacting. While others waste their energy trying to be seen, the disciplined man is focused on becoming dangerous in the shadows. Talk is cheap. Everyone is posting, tweeting, broadcasting their intentions. But here's the truth. Real strength doesn't need an announcement. The greatest moves are made in silence. The biggest transformations happen when no one is watching. While the world is busy clapping for the loud, the silent ones are building, preparing, becoming, and when they strike, it's with precision and force. Because every moment of silence was a moment of preparation. Weakness hides behind noise. The insecure man feels the need to prove himself constantly. He talks to convince others of his worth, but the focused man, the disciplined warrior, he's past all that. He doesn't need validation. He doesn't need applause. He doesn't need to explain. He just needs results. And results speak volumes. Strategy is about timing. You don't show your hand before the battle begins. You don't reveal your plan before you've built your strength. Silence gives you the space to think clearly, to act with purpose, to strike without warning. That's not weakness, that's warfare. The quiet man walks into rooms unnoticed, but he leaves an impact that's impossible to ignore. Why? Because his energy isn't in the volume of his voice, it's in the intensity of his presence. When you move in silence, you protect your energy. You avoid the drama, the chaos, the petty noise that derails most people. You don't waste time defending yourself or explaining your grind, you just do the work. And when the time comes, when the results show, people will ask, where did this come from? It came from the silence. It came from the grind they didn't see. It came from the hours of effort no one acknowledged. That's the secret. That's the strategy. So don't fear being underestimated. Embrace it. Let them doubt you. Let them sleep on you. Because the longer they ignore you, the more powerful your return will be. Every quiet rep, every silent sacrifice, every unnoticed win, it's all building momentum. And when it's time to make your move, they won't be ready. You will be. Because while they were talking, you were training. While they were bragging, you were building. While they were posting, you were preparing. Silence doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're smart enough to know that strength doesn't need to scream. It just needs to win. Quietly, relentlessly, completely, your focus is under attack every second, not once a day, not once an hour, every single second. From the moment you open your eyes to the moment you close them at night, the world is trying to hijack your attention. Algorithms, advertising, conversations, screens, notifications, it's all designed to pull you away from your mission, and most people don't even realize it. They think they are choosing what to do, when in reality, their focus has already been stolen. This is the real battlefield now. It's not out there in the dirt and the blood. It's in your mind, and the enemy isn't always visible. It comes disguised as entertainment, as connection, as urgency. Check this message. Scroll a little more. Watch just one more video. But each click, each swipe, each moment of distraction, it's a cut. A small wound to your discipline, a tiny drain on your strength. And over time, those cuts add up. They bleed you of your potential. You want to know why you're not where you should be. Why the results aren't coming fast enough. Look at how you spend your minutes. Because your minutes become your days, and your days become your legacy. You say you want success, but if your focus is scattered, your results will be too. Every time you shift your attention, you lose momentum. And momentum is everything. There's a cost to being constantly plugged in. A cost to responding to every notification like a dog to a whistle. You train your mind to be reactive instead of proactive. And a reactive mind doesn't build empires, it doesn't lead, it doesn't win, it follows, it obeys, it loses. So what's the solution? Discipline, ruthless discipline over your attention. You've got to defend it like it's sacred, because it is. You've got to say no to the easy things so you can say yes to the mission. That means setting boundaries. That means turning off distractions. That means putting your phone down and locking into the work, even when it's boring, even when no one's watching, even when you don't feel like it. This isn't about being perfect, it's about being aware. Aware that your focus is a resource that can either be wasted or weaponized. The men who build legacies, the warriors, the leaders, the champions, they all understand this. They don't let the world decide where their attention goes. They choose, they control it, they protect it. Because once your focus is gone, so is your power. You become easy to manipulate, easy to influence, easy to distract. And once you're distracted, you're no longer a threat. You're just another lost soul scrolling through life, mistaking motion for progress. So protect your focus. Guard it with your life. Train it, discipline it, make it sharp. Because if you can master your focus, you can master anything. And once you control your attention, you take back control of your entire life. Discipline fuels focus. Without discipline, focus is just a flicker, a spark that dies the moment discomfort shows up. But when discipline takes over, that spark becomes a fire, a controlled, relentless force that refuses to be extinguished. Discipline is what allows you to stay locked in, even when everything around you screams for your attention. It's the backbone of consistency, the reason champions keep showing up when everyone else is making excuses. You see, focus doesn't happen by accident. It's not about some magical motivation. It's not about waiting until you feel like it. That's weakness disguised as logic. Focus is built brick by brick through disciplined action. It's waking up early, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. It's turning off distractions, not because you want to, but because the mission demands it. That's what separates winners from talkers. One lives by how they feel, the other lives by what must be done. Every time you choose discipline, you strengthen your focus. You condition your mind to follow your command. You're saying to yourself, I am in charge here, not the world, not my emotions, not my laziness, me. That is power. That is self-control. That is what makes focus sustainable over the long haul. It's not the fire of motivation. It's the steel of discipline that gets you through the storm. And make no mistake, there will be storms. There will be days when you're exhausted, days when progress feels invisible, days when you'll be tempted to drift, to give in, to step back. That's when discipline shows its value. That's when it steps in and says, I don't care how you feel, we keep going. Discipline doesn't care about comfort. It cares about commitment. It doesn't ask for approval. It demands execution. People look at focused individuals and think, wow, they must be naturally gifted. No, they're disciplined. They've trained their mind to ignore distractions, to prioritize the mission, to say no when everyone else says yes. It's not a talent, it's a choice. A daily, hourly choice to be better, sharper, stronger. And the beauty of discipline is that it compounds. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. The stronger it gets, the deeper your focus becomes. You start doing what others won't. You go places others can't. You tap into levels of clarity and precision that feel almost unfair to everyone who's still distracted, still scattered, still soft. Discipline is the engine, focus is the result, and once that engine is roaring, you become unstoppable. You no longer need to talk about your goals. You're living them. You don't chase motivation. You command it. You don't beg for time. You dominate it, and all of it starts with one choice, the choice to be disciplined when it's hardest. That's the truth. That's the way. You want focus, earn it, build it, discipline your mind. Discipline your actions, discipline your life, and watch how the world begins to move out of your way. You don't need validation, you need results. In a world obsessed with attention, likes, followers, and praise, it's easy to forget that none of that means anything if you don't execute. Validation is empty. It doesn't build discipline. It doesn't sharpen focus. It doesn't make you stronger. It makes you dependent. It tricks you into thinking you're winning because people clap for your potential. But potential without performance is worthless. Stop waiting for someone to recognize you. Stop posting your intentions, hoping someone will applaud your effort before you've even earned a result. Nobody owes you validation. The world doesn't reward effort, it rewards execution, and if you're serious about building something real, something lasting, then you've got to cut the need for approval and start chasing output, not applause, achievement. You want to know who wins? The The ones who are too busy working to worry about being seen. The ones who show up day after day without fanfare, without recognition, without a pat on the back. The ones who grind in silence, push through discomfort, and let their work do the talking. That's real power. That's what separates leaders from followers, builders from dreamers. Because here's the truth, validation is addictive, it's a drug, and like any drug, the more you use it, the more you need it. You start doing things for attention instead of impact. You start chasing applause instead of improvement, and slowly, without even realizing it, you become dependent on what others think of you. That's weakness. That's how they control you, and you weren't built to be controlled. You were built to conquer. You don't need a round of applause. You need discipline. You don't need compliments. You need consistency. You don't need someone to tell you that you're doing well. You need to keep going even when no one's watching. Because if you rely on external praise, you will collapse the moment it disappears. But if you build yourself on internal fire, on your mission, on your purpose, then no opinion can shake you, no silence can stop you, no lack of recognition can derail you. Validation feels good, but results change lives. They open doors, they speak louder than any compliment ever could. No one can argue with a man who delivers, a man who shows up, produces, and executes. A man who doesn't have to say a word because his results say everything. So stop talking, stop waiting, stop hoping someone will notice your effort, and start doing the work that creates results. Let the wins speak, let the proof accumulate, and when people finally look up and say, "Where did this come from?" you'll know it came from the grind they never saw, from the discipline they never understood, from the focus they never respected. You don't need them to see you now. You just need to be undeniable later.